After some investigation, it is identified that the remote Linux server has another vulnerability on Unreal IRC daemon. So our sessions are listed, and the first session is our route gateway. So we are going to that network through our session 1. We are searching for Unreal IRCD exploit, and we are using it now. The details show that this exploit is exploiting a malicious backdoor that was added to the Unreal IRCD. So the service already has a backdoor. So we will trigger it and we will get this code execution. That's the idea. Our remote host is our server. And let's go to the options and see that it is there. And the port is set. We need to set another thing here, which is payload. And the payload must be again bind payload, because we need to tunnel this payload connection through our routing system on the session 1. And the local port should avoid any conflict. As our settings are here, we can try to exploit this. Started binding TCP handler. We are waiting for it. But again, network problems exist in this context. So we don't know our routing system works well. We are waiting for it, and the session is arrived. And we are here. So if we go to our environment, we can see that Vagrant is logged on. So we can identify the users, and it is Boba Fett. So we are going this way, and we are sending it to the session list, which is session 11. In addition to ProFTPD, we now have another shell on this session. So let's search for our Docker. So the Docker exploit will be still useful for us, but not on the session 10. This time in session 11, because it simply says that the user must be in the Docker group. Let's interact. Session 11 and see our ID. And we are in the Docker group. So this should work. We are seeing the options again. We are using bind TCP. We are using an L port, which should be changed to avoid any conflict again. And we run the exploit. And we are waiting for it. The payload is writing now, but we don't know whether or not this will work. Executing the Docker container, and handler started, and now we have a MetaPeter session. And the session is here. And the session has this escalation. And this is the content of the server. So we can just modify things or play with it. Now, we completed our privilege escalation phases as well as exploitation. We have passwords of several users. We compromise a Swift environment, and probably we can close this Linux system as compromised as well. So in our context, these two systems are Patek implant server, and whenever we need interaction metaperator, they completed their job. And if we can, if we're in a position to get more data, or if we need additional persistencies, we can also work on it as well. Currently, our session, this one, is coming through a persistency on the registry. So whenever we arrive, we will receive this one as a session. We can elevate this as UAC, or we can just link it and we can just fork it through metaperator and start working anyway. So this is how it works. And this is the end of the Linux exploitation phase.